Well, build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Well, they gave me balls, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shortbangers. I'm Matty. This is episode 38. I think we did just check it before we came on, and I've forgotten already. 38, John?
38, Matthew.
Excellent. Right. So, joining me tonight, Colin, we'll start with you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Pretty nervous about doing this. So
fresh meat.
Apart from that, I'm okay.
Shortbangers debut. Well, I'm sure you'll be fine. And also, John, how are you doing, John?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You're looking remarkably fresh as well for a new parent, I have to say.
I honestly think that I'm in some sort of mad honeymoon period where all the things that people told me just haven't come to pass yet. So I'm doing all right. Bairn's sleeping most of the way through the night. Getting like blocks of 4 hours sleep. So life's good.
We'll keep the noise down then, just in case. We'll try to wake her up.
Oh, she's on the boob now, so she's definitely happy.
So, right. Right, first question of the night comes from Liam. Liam asks, if our heads were rotated 100 degrees so they were backwards and our bodies stayed the same, what would life be like and what would be the hardest thing to do? I think aiming your pish would be the hardest thing. You'd have to sit down for a PE.
Would you walk forwards or backwards?
For why? This is a good point. You'd have to walk forwards because the mechanics of walking backwards would be...
No, but you can walk backwards, though. You can walk backwards and you can see where you're going. Half the part of walking backwards is
you can't see.
Looking over your shoulder.
Aye. So
you'd probably walk backwards, but look forwards. Well, halfway forwards.
Hell. It's actually hard to heed that, eh? You're right, because it would be easier to walk backwards than it would be to walk forwards and not be able to see. Do you think they design mirrors for you? Kind of like you'd effectively have like your own wee wing mirrors or something. Do you know how when you have braces when you're wee, like if you ever have braces and you get the wee head thing from put on when you go to your bed? Did you ever have braces?
No.
No, right.
Beautiful.
So you have, aye. you get this. It's fucking horrific, by the way. You look like, do you know when somebody's had a bad head injury and they had
a halo?
Skull, aye, it's like that. Kind of strapped to your head, and there's elastic bands come down to like a bit of metal that pokes out your mouth. It hooks into your braces, comes out your mouth, and then the elastic bands hook onto it. And that's
Did you have one of them?
Aye.
Tell me there's pictures. Tell me there's pictures.
I never wore it. I tried it once and I was like, fuck this.
I thought that was like exclusive to American orthodontics because I'd never ever seen or heard anyone here or anywhere else in the world having worn it. It was always one of those things that you saw in like teen movies in America or flashbacks to like the ugly duckling that got pretty.
Aye, well, one of the wee laddie's sisters in South Park has got one, but she wears it. She wears it all the time, I think. But I only had it for night time. You meant to put it when you went to your bed, but
I remember you with braces, but I can't remember. I wish I'd seen that. That would have been perfect.
You never went for a sleepover.
That's a challenging wank.
Fucking
even more challenging blowjob.
Jesus.
Why? Can I ask why would you need wing mirrors though? Because you're still. You don't have wing mirrors now.
No, that's what I was going to ask, Colin.
If you walk forward, so what we're saying is,
right,
you'd either adapt to walk backwards, right, in which case everyone's just doing the moonwalk. Okay, that's what it would look like, right? Kicking about the place off, fucking chuffing themselves. Or you walk forward, but you'd need to have mirrors so you can see where you were going.
I think we're overthinking it. I think the hardest thing to do is either eat or drink.
Aye, that's a shout, aye. I was going to say
chucking the peanuts up and try to catch them the whole thing.
If you chucked them up, would you have to bend forward to try and catch them?
You would. You can't have, when you get the folks showed off with the keep you uppies and that, they do like 2 or 3 and then they ping it in there and catch it on the back. That's what it'd be like when you chuck a peanut up. You'd be trying to...
You'd be flicking it over the back like that, and your mouth's round there, eh? So you would have to effectively be coming that way, so you'd be dipping your head back.
But your arms aren't designed for it. Like, imagine trying to eat a lolly. You get ice cream or whatever. You'd be...
That's too hard. I think that's the answer. Are we looking for a straight answer?
Well, I'm gonna go for that as well.
I'm trying to remember the question.
Drinking would have to be done through straws. You couldn't. There's no other way to do it. You couldn't be.
You'd have to make those plastic, like really, really curly straws. I'd want
or
one of them,
packs
or maybe
the
two.
runners wear. Can ones the runners wear?
Or the caps. The caps with the 2 tins of beer. Just kick them out the name. Good question.
Even that would be hard though, because your head would be facing the other way, so everything would be back to front. And if you were to get the wee drawstrings to make it clap,
you just put the cap that way. That's no fucking hard.
Aye, but would you not just be one of those like backwards cat wearing wankers if you did that? Like, I mean, does that equal out? Sorry, does that even out the fact that your head's backwards? Well, people know look at your head be backwards if your baseball cap's the right way round.
It's a different question altogether.
Aye. Right, thanks, Liam. Ray Forsyth was the next question. Said the club said that we're going to take a gamble on youngsters in the coming season. Who do you think will make the grade? Will Gullen break into the first team? What other youngsters from other clubs would you like brought in?
I couldn't fucking tell you. I don't know who's elsewhere.
Aye, I think any young players for any teams, you can that. Even Hibs, I can the ones that have made it to the bench, and a couple of the ones that have kind of been doing quite well in the development team this year, like Gary O'Connor's laddie and folk like that. But I couldn't tell you.
I don't know the pronunciation of his surname, but when we had
Smith
Harkis Consultancy Group on, they were talking about he was talking about Yarrick Gigantes or
Gigantes, yeah.
I want to see him make the first team because he's got a brilliant name, and it'll open up doors in the Southeast Asian market. Sorry.
Nice one.
Yeah, the pressure Ross is going to be under at the start of the season. He's not going to be able to get young players in the team, so they kind of start adding targets in to get youth players in. But he needs to win every derby, every Old Firm game,
every cup game.
Every cup game, the Champions League final. It's just not possible to get youth into that.
Right, Matt Reedy says, how far up do bald people go when they wash their face?
Well, I'd be better answering this one, eh? The 3 years, I just go as far as where the hair stops.
But you have some hair there, though, like it's
it's choice. Yeah, it's going further and further back. As you'll remember, I had a VV sort of hairline at the front. On that, but it's now just a case of washing as far as it goes.
Just
right up to where the hair starts. Yeah.
So you're saying, like, at this point, sort of here, you stop using soap and you start using shampoo?
Oh, we're in the shower now.
You just abandoned shampoo?
When we wash your face. I just thought the question was about washing the face. If I'm in the shower, I just use a shower gel all over. But no, my legs. Mind that question you've got asked 3 weeks ago. I started doing the legs since because I thought, it's a fair question. Wash my legs off.
I'll only do one.
I can't which one it was that said I just let the soap run down. And I thought, that's what I did. But my wife's shaking her head and everything now.
It's a mad
idea.
I
tell her I was doing this daft one night and it was just stupid.
I didn't believe you. Good question as well. Right, the words: you have to openly attend a Scottish Tory party conference and perform a karaoke duet with Annie Wells. What song do you sing and why? And do you think Curvy Nisbet would spill his pot noodle during the performance? Right, so John, why have you got pot noodle there in the first place? Right, before we go into what song you would sing, what you doing at the Tory conference party with a pot noodle? By the way, how much would the cunts look down on you for that if you rocked up there with a pot noodle?
That's what I'm saying. That would just out me straight away as not being one of us. I don't think there's a Tory alive that's had a pot noodle in their puff.
Especially not a Bombay bad boy, eh? I mean, that's like fucking...
Like, I don't know who even makes pot noodles. What's the brand? Or is the brand pot? No, it'd be like...
Oh, is it Kraft or something? No, but... Oh, fuck, that's a good question.
I don't think they're in the foie gras market, that's the thing.
No, I wouldn't have
Tories to be in pot noodles.
Dehydrated foie gras. Just pour the kettle over it. Get a couple of minutes, you're laughing.
Why would I have a pot noodle at the Tory party conference? Maybe as a
Who's
wee bit
Annie
of
Will?
a. Do you know? It would be like a tongue-in-cheek check me mixing with the commoners. I eat like you. Vote for me. That's why I'd be doing it.
Right. Did you ask who Annie Wells was?
I've just looked her up. She looks like she could do with that brace you were talking about. A minute ago, I don't know if it's the same boy asked the question. He's went for braces to Annie Wells because it's desperate.
Right, what you singing?
If you
were
go
in,
it. Is it a duet? It's a duet.
aye.
Can only think of the Elton John one they done with Kiki D and that'll do. That one, eh?
Don't go breaking my heart.
Oh,
Aye,
Sonny
by
and
winning the
Cher.
election again.
Sure.
What was
John.
it Sonny and Cher did? What was that song?
Oh,
Well, apart
was
from
that Don't
Belgium.
Let Your Sun Go Down on Me? Oh no, that was Elton
No,
John.
That was Elton John as well.
Aye.
Is Elton John the only man that's ever done a duet?
No.
Tell you what I could do. What was the one that Freddie Mercury did for the Barcelona Olympics in like 1992 or something? He
It was
sung it
called
with a big.
Barcelona.
Aye. Did he not sing that with a big opera singer?
Yeah.
Aye,
was
that's
good
what I
for
would do.
What part? Freddie Mercury bit or
I'll do the other part.
I came out with singing like at the Tory party. You like to think it was something really fucking offensive that they pissed them off, but off the top of my head, I can't think of it. I'll come back to that one. Right, random dribbles said exactly how many mickles are there in a muckle?
I don't know what a mickle is. Or a muckle.
Well,
15.
15, right. Kaiser Susie, I love this question when it came through because you think, fucking hell, you can't answer this without sounding like a cunt, right? What's your favourite natural disaster?
Favourite? Is it a specific thing or is it just like... Because I think volcanoes are quite spectacular.
So I think it has to be a specific one because, yeah, you're right, but because I thought you could probably have remember the Icelandic volcanic ash that grounded all the planes in it because nobody died and I didn't anybody got hurt with that. And I thought, well, that's got a PC safe one to do, which I think was really in the spirit of the
shite bag.
I'm going to go Pompeii then. Because mind there's a boy got caught wanking and he's still in the shape of having a wank. What better way to go? What better way to go?
What I hope happened, right, is that that wasn't what he was doing at all. He was just lying, but the first folk that found him were like, nobody else has seen it. Move his hand in, like his neighbours walked in and thought, I hated that cunt. Just moved his hand. He's like, he's going to be known as Pompeii Wank Man for the rest of his days. What were you, John?
Chernobyl.
That was a natural. Aye, that was a natural.
Oh well. Hang on. What?
And by the way,
what was the question?
How come there was no superheroes after Chernobyl? How many you see like fucking a wee radioactive spider that bites Peter Parker? Again, suddenly can do what a spider can. Not one out of Chernobyl. Not one. So I'm beginning to think that the whole superhero thing might not actually be fucking true. I mean, I watched the whole, like every one of the Avengers documentaries. And it looked reasonable enough, but I'm thinking now the evidence suggests that might be a wee bit far fetched.
You're probably right.
Aye.
It wasn't a radioactive spider though, was it? It was just a genetically engineered spider or something.
I'm sure it was radioactive. And then the Hulk, he was like blasted with fucking all sorts.
Aye, he was gamma rays, aye.
Aye. Gamma.
Are you thinking blowjob rays?
Yeah. Because we're 8.
So what? So we can only have
natural
acts of God.
Fuck. Because everything's an act of God. If you go down that line and say things are an act of God, then fucking everything's an act of God. I'm sure we've covered this before that you can't pick and choose. It's either all or nothing. Not just the really, really good stuff and not just the really, really shit stuff.
You're probably thinking, I'm thinking hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, volcanoes. What else? It's probably more than that, eh?
Oh, I really like the radiation
Floods.
theme, though. Can I go Fukushima, the tsunami over there?
You can have that one because that was
just because it's totally fucked. Like it's as fucked as Chernobyl, but everyone's like, aye, it's fine. Just pump that radioactive water into the ocean; it'll be fine. and it will absolutely not be fine.
I like to. Well, I'll go for a big famine if you got concerts out of that. So, some of the best concerts that have happened.
All the big acts together.
Aye, all together, and you think it was like before Tea in the Park and everything like that, and everybody remembers it. So that's what one I'll pick.
Which one did you go for?
Famine. Okay, all right. Alistair Taylor said, which cartoon character was cooler, Touche Turtle or Marine Boy? So I can't mind Marine Boy. I remember Touche Turtle with his wee fucking sword on that, so I'm going to have to plump for him.
I can't remember either, so is that the one out?
Aye, I'm going to have to go for the turtle, and I'm going to Google Marine Boy. Is he like Pound Stretcher version of Aquaman?
Aye, sounds like it, eh? He'd be a wee prick at school. You think Touche Turtle would probably be kind of decent. He was up for a bit of adventure, but Marine Boy...
Were these ITV ones? Because I didn't remember them. I used to watch BBC.
Touche Turtle might... I was going to say it might have been on Cartoon Cavalcade, but I don't think it was. Was it a Saturday morning one or something? I could definitely remember watching it. BBC Two maybe calling when CBeebies wasn't or CBBC.
Yeah.
Very good.
Marine Boy sounds like the kind of guy at your school that would tell you that he was like a world champion swimmer, but he struggled to do the 25 metres with his armbands.
Aye, that's it. That's it. So we're definitely going with the turtle. Right, and then also Alistair Taylor, how long is a piece of string?
What does it say in the packet?
15. What's the longest bit of string you've ever seen?
That's a question.
I can.
Problem with that question is that you never really take notice of a bit of string. It's actually really annoying.
But you might have just seen it and went, that's a long bit of string. But you didn't get the fucking measuring tape.
Aye. Or you probably wouldn't have appreciated the significance of it. You know, when you saw it, you would have clocked it, maybe it went, like you say, that's a long bit of string.
He's got to ask a question about that at some point.
Aye, at some point that might come up in a fucking stupid podcast.
I reckon, because the universe works in mysterious ways, that one of us, or one of our listeners is going to come across a big bit of string in the next 3 weeks, and they're going to send us a picture of it.
Alex will have string because he's a joiner. Like, he's bound to have fucking.
Aye, doesn't he sound like a cowboy joiner though? What's he going to be doing with a bit of string?
No,
actually
for stuff in it. Do you know, like for marking stuff out and that?
Well, I was going to say the longest bit of string I can think that I've seen. I don't imagine it is the side of like a football or a rugby pitch. Where they've got to mark the line,
aye,
and they pin it to keep it straight, and it's on the.
Aye.
That's that. I don't know. That would depend on the size of the pitch, wouldn't it?
So
110 metres long.
But assuming the biggest football pitches have the same thing for marking it out, then that's probably your longest, because nobody's marking anything longer than a football pitch, I wouldn't think. No, unless
unless somebody building a house. No, even that the house isn't that big. Yeah.
What? You ever?
What size of house do you live in?
That's quite big, like.
Do you know when
they build it? So
when you get meat and it's got the string around it?
Aye.
If you get like a roast or whatever, that's always deceptively long because it doesn't look like it's going to be that long, but fucking there's always tons of it.
But is that one bit of string? Is it one continuous length of string?
Sometimes.
Or is that many parts? Sometimes
it's like elasticy stuff. Like it's no proper string, but then other times you get it, it's like just fucking string.
Aye.
Anyway, good. I was going to say good question, but come on. Right. Charlie said, as you know, I co-host the Strong Opinion Hibs podcast. What's your strong opinion about Hibs? John, we're starting with you. Or you want to come in, Colin?
Oh, I'm thinking about saying something. I'm thinking if I should.
Is it funny?
Nah.
Get your strong opinion out, Colin.
I always think like the temptation here is to go proper extreme, right? And you'd have to kind of clarify it specifically and set up and say, this is not my opinion. I do not believe this thing at all, but it would be funny if this was the opinion that I came out with. And then you say something like, women shouldn't play football, or, you know, something like that, right? Something ridiculous. It was just a strong opinion, but you know, would get you into bother. And like I say, I didn't hold that opinion. Strong opinion on Hibs would be... Oh, fucking hell. Okay.
I'm going to say this one, right? It might lose you some viewers. It's or listeners, whatever. I think we have a minority of a fan base that is toxic.
I would agree with that. I think probably every club has, though, to be fair, but we definitely do. Yeah, that's got a good, strong opinion, to be fair. Definitely folk who would rather destroy than build.
Yeah, but look at HSL for one example. I got talked down.
Aye.
And there was a small group of people made enough noise about it to put other people off it for it to effectively fail.
Aye. Aye, did
and look at what they're doing to the manager just now as well. So,
oh well, here's my strong opinion, a controversial one. Hearts fans are better than putting their hand in their fucking pocket to support the club than Hibs fans. On that same token. John?
I'd put a thing on Hibs.net the other day when I got fed up with the accepting mediocrity line just one too many times. I got the keyboard out, started typing away. And one of the things that I was going to put in that I didn't put in because it aligns perfectly with what you just said, Matty. There was upwards of 100,000 people out on Leith Walk following the Scottish Cup final win.
Yeah.
They were taking part in the parade, but our average attendance in 2019-2020 was about 16,500. Capacity is 20,000, and over the course of the season, a couple of rough calculations, that's £1 million in lost revenue because we can't fill the stadium. But there was 100,000 people out. Things like you talked about what was that thing that we did that the HSL did, and it was about like chucking an extra 20 quid in like the match ticket or a couple of beers or whatever.
The semi-final, I think
they were trying to raise 100 grand or something. I don't know what the final figure was, but it fell short at 100 grand.
It's about half of that, I think.
And people want success, and I know that like season tickets are the biggest way to do that, but there's other ways I think to support the club financially. But at the same time, I'm one of those people who thinks, how much does the individual fan have to contribute themselves? But we need to, it's you're caught between a rock and a hard place because you need to generate income, but you can't generate the income in order to become more successful. In order to become more successful, you need to generate more income. So where do they all kind of tie in? And do you know what? It wouldn't hurt to just put bums on seats, buy tickets, go to the game. Whether it's a season ticket or an individual ticket, if the average attendance was 6,500, there's 3,500 tickets going begging.
Aye, fair dues.
Aye, just things like that.
All those opinions were strong enough.
You never asked me what mine was.
I thought that was yours.
No, that's just.
Yours.
I was.
All right, you just
elaborating on yours. Aye.
Right.
My strong opinion is that if a manager signs a 3.5-year deal, that's set in stone. He gets the opportunity to deliver a 3.5-year plan, if you like. None of this signing 2.5, 3.5, 4-year deals, whatever, and seeing 18 months.
Right. What about Terry Butcher?
I know, but
no, but surely relegation means that that's one of your get out clauses.
Aye, so unless you get relegated, aye, or you're a big fucking Tory prick like him.
Because I had a look as well. Just sorry, I know this is kind of going off topic a wee bit, but I had a look the other day. But in my lifetime, so I've been alive for 38 years, 39 come December, and we've had 18 managers in that time, and that doesn't equate to a hell of a lot of time for a manager to deliver the silverware that some elements of support demand instantly.
Well, we all want it, don't we? But right, Espresso asked, here's a scenario: finish second/third for the next decade and qualify for group stages of Euro competition, or mixed league positions but win 6 cups in the same period.
The cup's guaranteed.
Cups are guaranteed.
I'll take the cups.
Job.
Do you know that you're going to win the cups?
Well, so it's the decade, and you're going to win 6 cups within that decade. So no, you don't can. Unless you didn't win the last one until the last cup competition of that decade, and then you've got a pretty safe bet.
You take the trophies.
Aye, of course you would
take the trophies. The only thing I would caveat that with is if you know you're going to win them, it's not quite the same spontaneous celebration.
No.
In fact, it's not anything like a spontaneous celebration. You'd probably not turn up if you knew you were going to win.
Well, we thought we were going to win on last Saturday. And
still be watching it, shite myself. I'd still be thinking, oh.
Could go wrong. Right, Alex, is there a noticeable difference between a nook and a cranny? Right, John, here's one for you, right? Talking about coincidences. Remember, we're having this conversation about, is there such a thing as coincidence? Can't remember who asked that question, right? But
Might be.
we were, so in the car on, it was just yesterday, in fact, when the question came in. Go to Glennorth, I should take Josh to his work. And there's a sign for, as you come up towards Glennorth, there's a roundabout, and you can turn right and you can go into Glennorth or away up to Leavin, or you can go straight on and can head up Glennorth that way. And the sign says East Nook, right? N-E-U-K, right? And I said to Jane, what does Nook mean? Do you know, like, what's the actual definition of it? We have a kind of rough idea. So it's just kind of Googled Nook definition, and it's corner, right? And it's right, because if you look at the shape of Fife, it goes in the corner, like East Nook. So you go, oh, that's fine. And we said, she said, I think it's like a nook and cranny, right? Which, although it's spelt different, similar thing, right? Which is what the nook and the nook and cranny means. But we're having that conversation, and literally I parked the car. So it was a couple of minutes after that, parked the car to get drop Josh off. We're waiting for a few minutes to check my phone, and that's the question that's come through. So Alex has texted us on Twitter, what's the difference between a nook and a cranny at the exact moment, more or less, that we are discussing what a fucking nook is. That is a coincidence, you see. So it's not fated or anything like that. It's just fucking two completely separate incidents that just coincided at the exact right moment.
What I would ask is, because Alex stays near you, doesn't he?
No.
No?
No.
I thought you said he stays near you.
He stays near my sister-in-law.
Ah, right, okay. Where does your sister-in-law stay?
None of your business, you creepy fuck.
But is it over in Fife?
No, it's not. It's in Northfield in Edinburgh.
Oh, shit. Oh, well, that's
not that bad. It's kind of like they could do something about it there, but it's not. Shit was a bit harsh.
Because what I was going to say was, under the mistaken impression that Alex stayed over in Dunfermline near you, and with him being a joiner and being out and doing quotes and doing jobs and whatnot, what are the chances that he had passed that same sign, got the idea for the question, and then later rattled off the tweet? That would make it less of a coincidence, I think. It
would still be a coincidence that we'd been on the same road and had the same thought.
Aye.
But yes, it would be marginally less of a coincidence. But anyway,
how do you measure a coincidence, like the strength or weakness of it?
You get obviously the bit of string that you've got. It's however long that is.
Depends what cut of meat you've had at the weekend.
Aye. So a nook and a cranny, do you know the difference between them?
Well, I think the nook's a corner or something, is it not?
Aye. Do you know what a cranny is?
No.
It's your dad's mum. I could teed that one up, right? A cranny was like a wee cupboard or something like that, I think.
Aye, the boy, what's his name? The Roman Emperor dude, Caljicus. He answered that, I think. He gave a proper definition.
I've no better bookmarked that, I think.
You and your spelling and your bookmarks and you're not being able to remember the episode number.
Yep. I'm fucking hopeless. Right, Alex.
What's a nook, a corner? What's just corner of anything?
Aye. Yeah.
Is it an old Scottish word?
I think they kind of, when they figured out how to split the atom, that was when it, because then they had the types of bombs in that were named after.
So nooks and crannies didn't exist before they split the atom. Is that what you're saying?
That's it. They figured that out. They needed something because they made the bombs, and they needed somewhere to hide them for the bad folk. They're like, fuck, we've made these big bombs. We'll hide them. Where will we put them? These corners and crevices. We need to call them something. Nooks and crannies. There you go. That's how it happened.
I can just think of it. What was the name of the place they did the atomic bomb testing? Was it Los Alamos?
Colbeth. You talking about America out in the Nevada desert or wherever it was?
Aye, was it Los Alamos? I was just thinking it was maybe like there's maybe a sign out there saying twinned with Colbeth.
Did you see the last Indiana Jones movie?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Aye. That starts off...
True story. I got fed up. I got so fed up with that film, I ended up having a wank midway through. Utter shit.
Was that in the bit with the monks?
Ray Winston.
It's a terrible movie. Like, I love Indiana Jones. Like, for all growing up, Indiana Jones was up there with Star Wars as my favourite movies, and that one was pish. But it starts off with the testing the bombs, isn't it? And he kind of shuts himself in a fridge and gets blown across the fucking desert. It was ridiculous. Even right from the start, it was pish.
I refuse. I know the name of it, obviously, but I refuse to acknowledge that it is greater than a Indiana Jones trilogy.
Yeah, I would go along with that. They're making a new one. In fact, like Harrison Ford's something like 130 now.
Aye.
And they're still going to put him in it. Anyway,
do you think he'll maybe be like a dad to someone else? Like Sean Connery was.
Oh, right. I thought
you'd be like Rocky coaching the laddie.
Aye. Probably. I'm going to teach you how to be an archaeologist. Oh, for fuck's sake, right? That's fun. It's fun, honest. I fucking want to do that.
Do you think there'll ever be a point in human history where there'll be nothing left to dig up?
Nah.
Like, do you think we'll always be finding civilizations and tombs and, I don't know, sacrificial sites and whatnot?
Well, for as long as there's an opportunity to make somebody look like they're having a stone wank. Yeah. Do you remember the cartoon when you were wee about the old couple that the nuclear explosion? What was that? When the Wind Blows or something it was called?
You've talked about this about 3 or 4 times in recent Shortbangers.
Have I? Fucking why must I think of it? It was done like the Snowman, I think, like Raymond Briggs. That kind of animation.
Was that because we were the same age, obviously? Was that at the time of like the height of the Cold War and all that? Like,
aye.
Is that why that was it?
I'm sure we'd have watched it in Modern Studies, Colin.
Probably, yeah. That in between Boys in the Hood.
When Boys in the Hood was on. Alex again says, if a cocktail sausages wrapped in bits of bacon is known as pigs in blankets, what should we name my new invention, which is chips individually wrapped in doner kebab meat?
So
I didn't call them pigs in blankets. So.
They're fucking kilted sausages.
Kilted sausages.
I really hate that Americanism. Get it to fuck. It's a kilted sausage.
Right.
That's my strong opinion about Hibs.
I'd scrap the other one.
I'll edit that out.
Just put that big beep through it that you did for the recast app.
If go and watch. I can see only a handful of folk have gone and watched 100 free credits. Go and fucking watch the advert, you pricks. What would you call a chip wrapped individually in doner kebab meat then? If you can't have a kilted sausage, kilted chip, or what's you would need to go for the national dress, turkey. Thinking about this, John, you're knowledgeable with stuff like this. What's the national dress of Turkey?
It is. It's a wee. I think if I remember rightly, it's a wee bit like the Swiss. You know the Swiss Guard outside the Vatican.
Sage and onion stuffing, mate.
Fuck off.
Was it a chip and kebab chips and the kebab meat's round it?
Yeah.
Carbon llama? No. No. God, I was going to do the carbonara. It's a carbon llama.
Carbon llama, yeah. You can have that.
I don't know. Too hard. I need advance notice if I'm going to get stuff like this.
Well, I'll go for I was going to say spud you like, yeah. That's because it would be nice. Right, Mikey Stewart says, what's the best biscuit to dip in your tea?
I quite like, I've not had one for ages. It's a Foxy's biscuit. Like it's like an oat crumble or something like that. Oat something or other. Like that. Just in tea. Wouldn't do it in coffee. Does anybody dip anything in coffee? No. Do you?
Chips and kebabs.
I'll dip pretty much anything in anything.
Aye.
That leads us on to our next question, John. If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you'd done?
Definitely been dipping.
We'll come back to that one. Right? What's your biscuit of choice for dunking in your tea?
Foxy's classic, because I'm a big snobby bastard.
Like a full chocolate biscuit in a cup of tea?
Aye.
Aye.
But then I also like tanning an entire packet of custard creams or bourbons. Which, do you know what? There's no end to the biscuit. I'm actually not a snob. I'll put anything in a cup of tea.
Right, a bourbon biscuit. Right, if you cover it in chocolate, it's a penguin.
Aye.
That revelation was made to me yesterday.
Is it? Aye, I didn't even think of that.
No, an actual penguin, obviously, but
like a biscuit penguin.
Aye, the biscuit penguin.
It's a penguin in the same way that a twirl is just a chocolate-covered flake.
Aye.
When you think about it. Aye.
Twirls are magic.
I think it is, though. Nah, because a flake's more crumbly than a twirl.
But it's only because the protection of the chocolate shell.
I think that's what it is. They'll make it solidify it.
I think if you got it naked, it would crumble.
It's like a wee chocolate cocoon for the twirl. No, for the twirl, the flake.
I like this. This action. Right, so...
Did you answer that?
I didn't. I like Dunkin' biscuits and tea.
Shy bag. Why
I
not?
like Dunkin', like what you said, full chocolate biscuit, but I would go with like a digestive or a rich tea or a hobnob. But my favourite is that, the Foxy's...
chocolate digestive.
I'd go chocolate digestive. I'd say that. They're a nightmare. I was off sick, 2 years ago for a few weeks, and they were on offer at Tesco. Fucking hell, every day. Packet chocolate digestives and about 3 or 4 cups of tea. Just watching shouting the telly. Chocolate digestives.
Aye. I like biscuits without dunking them in tea, like as they're meant to be. And then I like my tea without crumbs in it. So because of those two reasons, I go, I'm not fucking dunking a biscuit in this cup of tea.
I'm very cautious in it. I don't like the crumbs, I agree with that. But
I didn't mind it. You ever get a caramel log? In fact, I'm asking the wrong boys, but sometimes if I've got a caramel log, you get like the wee toasted coconut bits. After I've finished it, I'll just toss the wee coconutty bits into my tea or coffee or whatever I'm drinking.
Floors?
Aye.
Oh, no.
Right.
Oh, no.
See,
but they're bad floaters. It's all right. It's not like I'm offering them around like, here, you fancy a bit of my coconut.
Do you chuck the wrappers at other members of your family when you've had like a caramel wafer or something like that? Do you know, like with the foil wrappers? There was something that happened quite frequently in my house when I was wee. I think that's something that doesn't happen in my house now. But
that's because you weren't allowed to watch Die Hard.
Aye, that's true. Because you
just express your violence in other ways.
You could be sitting just watching the telly, minding your own business, and the next thing just scudded in the head with a wee rolled up wrapper. Yeah. Normally, they pretend to chucking it for the cat. Oh, I was chucking it for the cat to try and entertain it. No, you fucking won me. Just pinging at me. Might start that. I might bring that back to the household.
Right. No, I've never stopped, mate. I still do it. Go to the mother-in-law's on a Saturday. She puts a biscuit soup, caramel wafers, caramel logs, roll them up. Kit Kats, that's the other one. Good for it. Just
superb.
Saves you putting it in the bin. Whoever catches it has to put it in the bin. Surreal.
Right, if you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done? I would get in trouble for probably having said something on here. Do you know, something like, I'd accuse a Hibs goalie of doing something that they hadn't done, rather than
former.
Last time they had, former.
It doesn't matter if they're former keeper.
If a former keeper sacked us.
And the boy was a crook. Like he wasn't an alleged crook. He was a crook.
Aye, so then it's all right to say it. But if you just go, okay, if I said, fucking Gary Mackay, Gary Locke likes folk pissing on him, right? If I said that, so I don't care if that's true. It could well be, might not be. But if it was not true, and I said that in all seriousness, then I could get into trouble for it. So that's what I think. So who knows if Gary Locke likes the golden showers and that? What he does in his spare time, it's up to him. Even if he does like it, nobody's judging him.
We're not saying anything. We're just letting you walk yourself.
Stop digging.
So anyway, that's what my family would think I had done. I'll use that as an example. Obviously, not. I'm not saying whether he does like that or not. I don't know. I have no way of knowing. What about you, John?
I don't know. I've got enough mates that listen to this, so I wonder if I can bounce the question back to them and tweet it afterwards.
Right.
Does that work? I know it doesn't work for the purposes of this show.
How long have we got? What were you called?
Well, I think, despite, right, so I think maybe would be some kind of driving offence. Even though I've not got any points or anything like that, my dad The car I've got now, when I'm getting too near somebody, starts beeping with the brake thing, telling me to brake and that. So never had any points. Only crashed one car properly. So I think I've got a bit of perception hanging about me in the family that it's I'm reckless. I think that would be it.
John, you want to come in?
I'm reluctant to say murder. I think that's what it would be.
It's quite an extreme one, isn't it? John got lifted last night. Was it murder?
I'm not an angry person, but I do hold on to bitterness for far too long. Like, for example, I realised the other day that it's been 7 years since I last spoke to my mother. Like, I will hold a grudge.
You'll have. What's the shitest thing you shoplift?
I can't talk about shoplifting in here because I'm employed, fully employed, and I can't shoplift.
Theoretically, a hypothetical situation, there was,
the shitest thing in value or the shitest thing.
Either.
Like,
who was it? Was it Richard Badley that chored the wine? Or no, it was the Hickey did Anthony Worrell Thompson as well, the chef. He was
putting stuff through the self-service, wasn't he?
There was a policeman.
He was getting foie gras putting it through as half a dozen eggs.
A policeman he lost his job because he was putting through things as grapes. I can't remember what was it. It wasn't even like a telly or something. Imagine fucking losing your job for that.
There was a boy down south, I'm sure.
Definitely was.
The boy down south who was dodging train fares. He had some sort of scam and he'd saved, I can't remember if it was like $2,000 or $20,000 over a period of months and years. But it was one of those, I think it was it not? So he was an FCA registered person. They got it taken off. Was he? Yeah. I can't remember exactly what position he was, but I had that taken off him because he wasn't it's not a fit and proper person, but you'll know the terminology that I'm referring to.
Aye. Imagine doing that. Like, you get.
And the boy was minted. Like, it's not like he couldn't afford the train fare.
It must be the thrill. It must be the thrill.
That's a really shite thing. Oh, I'm fucking
my train fare. Walking out the supermarket and it doesn't beat.
And saying that, I don't know if you boys ever get the train or that, but see if I ever go for Livy to Edinburgh Waverley and there's no conductor and there's no barriers at the other end, you do feel like you've got one up on the man.
On the man. I had a mate who was right at the trains, but then he to be fair, he died. He died doing what he loved. He was chuffed to bits.
Fuck, I'll shake my head as soon as you start talking.
Yeah, you can't it's coming in. Right.
There's probably people listening to this. I've never heard of the concept of steam trains.
What? Fucking, you still chuff. Trains still chuff even though they're all steam powered.
No, they didn't.
It's electric, I don't know.
Well, he was an old man, and it happened. An old man. Right, Vinny 2 times said, "Who's currently the most handsome manager in Scottish football? Jack Ross, Jim Goodwin, or Dick Campbell?"
Is that the choice, or can we pick somebody else?
I think you can pick I think you can pick who you want. To be fair.
Can't think of the managers. They've all been sacked recently, don't they?
Everybody lost their job. So, John, you're scratching your chin there. You're having a good old think.
It's definitely no. I'm just working my way down the league table. It's no Gerrard. Celtic are managerless.
Yeah.
Stephen Glass isn't a bad-looking boy. Like for him having been away for Scottish football and that for a while and been over in America, he's come back and he looks like he's like Scottish football's Jamie Redknapp. Like, how the fuck does that cunt stay in shape?
Jamie Redknapp?
Aye. How does he not look like his dad?
I know, or his man, because his man's not even capping either. He ain't used to the looks. That's when you had that conversation recently. Now, you're like, how does he look like that when you look at his mum and dad? Like,
I'm going to say Callum Davidson, no, because I think it's true, but just because I think if we compliment him, he might come and take over us after Jack Ross goes, and then we can win some fucking cups. So, right, we'll move on for that. We're already caring enough about the managers that are out there. Kaiser Soze, right, what's the most offensive thing someone has said or done to you, like really made you go internally outraged?
Internally.
Because you're both married, right? There must be something.
I do. Was it I do?
I was thinking earlier, she's downstairs and she's feeding the bairn. Hopefully she can't hear me, but the wife's brilliant, great cook. But in spite of the fact that she's a great cook, her timings for making stuff are fucking horrible. Like, stuff is never ready all at the right time. Does it, like, do you ever watch like a cookery program or that, and they're talking about like, yeah, you've maybe got different things. One of them takes half an hour, one of them takes an hour and a half, so you need to kind of juggle things about. Absolutely fucking hopeless at it. And it does my tits.
Right, what's that going to do with her job? There's a story of that. I'm glad you told us.
That's my internal outrage. I'm offended by it.
Yeah, what,
our timing of cooking things offends me.
Aye, it's hard to, like you say, I'm not easy offended, and it tend to like hard to believe. I didn't get that many insults directed at me. There was like in an old job that I did, there was a woman who didn't get on with. I don't care why I didn't fucking get on with her anyway, right? But she definitely did not get on with me, and we were trying to push through a change to our working pattern. Right, we'd done all the maths on it and everything. Right, said me and this other boy had worked out. So if we did 4 days instead of 5, we did it longer. This is the extra work that we could get out of everybody. Right, modelled it all. It was all sound right. Kind of tested it, stress tested it. Went to say we're going to do it. No, I can't do it. It doesn't work. So there's a bit of to and fro. And anyway, she got up to the point where she was going to take another job in the business. And so we're like, well, we're going to do this then, because it's nobody there to stop us. So we put together the email and sent it on, and got this email back from her. So even though she was gone, she still tried to fucking spoil things. But the stuff was like, it was as if we were fucking idiots. Like, who's going to look at this objectively to see if it's working? Who's tested to see if this would work? Who's like it's all these like kind of really fucking Billy Basic things, and that was fucking offensive because she was wrong on every single fucking point. But then we did it anyway and proved her wrong. So fuck you.
When she replied, did she copy in every manager?
Every cunt. Of course, it wasn't just back to me. No,
that may be just my one sort of rule in life. Like, never ever do that to me unless you are absolutely 100% correct beyond all reasonable doubt. Do not copy in managers when you're trying to pull me up about something.
Aye, that's fair. That's fair. Shite bag.
Because that'll more than likely cause me to kill you. That'll be what it is. Like, John's been arrested. Well, for some cunt sent him an email at work and copied in his boss.
Replied to all on it.
Bastards. That's probably been the thing that I got most annoyed about. It wasn't particularly offensive, but I was raging for ages. But that's probably the angriest email I've ever replied to as well.
Was it full on like single finger mashing the keyboard?
Bang, bang, bang like that. Took about 4 goes because you have to delete all the swearing for your first go and then try again and then and then you can't just reply. You have to reply, but also double down on the dig back. So, it's very childish. I'm not proud of myself for that. I was proud of myself. Colin, what about you?
I didn't get offended at things you're probably meant to get offended at. So I'm just like, it's all stupid things. Like, I would be coming out with, and you say it now in the bold light of day, you would think, what the fuck did you get offended, or why were you outraged at that? Like somebody tooting the horn at you.
Aye.
When they shouldn't, or somebody picking the wrong lane at Sheriff Hall when they're coming up for fucking Nidri up to Bonnyrigg and you're in the wrong lane, you're cutting across the front of you and that. Again, stupid things like that. But no, actually, somebody actually saying something to offend me. I just didn't like it.
Aye.
Offended,
I tend to find it funny. Do you know, I find it difficult to be offended if somebody insulted me, but the insult was amusing. I'd be tempted to just fucking, if you play I agree with that, yeah. All right, 150k in Hanlon Hill. Is it fair to say the Dalmatian dogs look like stuck-up bastards, like a monocle wouldn't look out of place and it's smug bastard and pus? Dalmatians, are they the most stuck-up dogs? Or are there worse ones?
Border Terriers have got a wee area of superiority about them as well, in spite of their size.
Tories, that's why. The Borders.
I never thought of them like that.
Well, now you will. You'll like them even less.
West Highland Terriers as well. They're quite snobby. Or maybe it's just the people that buy them. Maybe they're actually really sound.
Aye,
Just get lumbered with shitey owners.
Imagine that. Imagine like when they realise everybody thinks I'm a cunt and it's his fault. I used to like you. You give me biscuits and that, but aye. Aye.
Do you think? I was going to say, do you think who would be the Doug or Dougs that you could picture shopping in Jenners or cutting about in Pringle jumpers?
What's the big hairy ones? So there's the red setter. Is it red setters? Like they're quite big.
Yeah.
Long hair. But then what's the other one, like an Afghan hound or something like that? They're big, long-haired, posh-looking buggers as well.
Aye.
I'm sure. So those would be the ones that would be kicking about Jenners.
Driving Range Rovers wearing Pringles.
Although they wouldn't now because there's no JD Sports owns them, or what's his face, Mike
something like that.
Do you know one Jenners now?
Aye.
I think that's just going to make it a big. Is it going to be a massive Sports Direct on Princess Street?
Imagine trying to go down the aisles and that, either off the t-shirts and stuff, or get tripping over stuff.
A massive Jenners mug. Mike said, why does Ron Seal fence paint say 1 coat in 5 years sustainability? This is a feckin' lie. Also, Mr. Miyagi told us to paint fence. I have, and I'm not a karate expert, just sore. What product have you bought to find it's just marketing lies? Right, I'll not use the 10x Super Mop because I've talked about that before and that was a fucking bastard, but there are other examples.
48-hour antiperspirant spray.
That's a good shout, by the way.
What's the point?
There's no washing in the 48 hours.
Exactly.
Aye. Right. Aye, good shout. Colin?
Oh, no, hang on. I'm just looking at my can of L'Oreal Men Expert here. Absorbent antiperspirant, 96 hours.
96 hours?
What's that, 4 days?
4 days,
4 days and you're not having a wash because your magnesia absorbing system is working to maximum capacity.
If you're in the army or something. If you're in the army and you're in manoeuvres.
The enemy would smell you coming.
Phone Craig. phone Craig, ask him.
Full squadron. 400 miles that way.
Africa.
I got... so I'm really bad with hangovers, right? I just puke. I just spew with hangovers. And Boots for a wee while sell, I don't know if it's still doing, but they sold like it's a hangover remedy thing meant for the next day to stop you being sick and getting a sore head and everything. So I got that. That was pish. That did not work in the slightest. Or even a fucking hint of working. That was probably the worst thing. I was the most annoyed because I felt really bad and I was looking forward to no feeling bad by taking this powdery stuff. It was rank and it didn't work and I was annoyed. Sure, waterproof stuff one time that fucking wasn't waterproof as well. That annoyed me.
What's your go-to hangover cure?
Iron Brew. Iron Brew. If you get a McD's breakfast, that's a sausage and egg muffin, or a double sausage and egg muffin, hash brown, a coffee, and then get some Iron Brew, didn't you? That sorts you out.
I've just got to sleep with a hangover. I can't do. If I've got a proper bad one, it's just let me quiet corner somewhere. That's what I need. Can't face anything.
If I know I'm going to have a heavy night, I prep for it. So I'll have things like a bottle of Lucasade, bottle of Iron Brew, some paracetamol out, sometimes like some Unifem Plus, like strong painkillers that'll proper do the business. I'll have them all ready to go for when I come home. I'll start that. So Lucasade treatment. Lucasade Sport, you know the still orange. Have that, it's no fizzy, so you can drink it before you go to your bed. And then I have water in that when I get up.
Didn't he ever invite me back to yours for a party if all you're dishing up is Lucasade and fucking paracetamol?
No, that's just for me, just when I get home, to try not to spew. It doesn't matter, like I have it on and then just vomit it straight back up anyway and spend the next morning puking. Sometimes I'll make myself sick just to get over and done with.
Can you do that? Can't face that. I just can't make myself sick.
They
always came in, you've got to feel better if you do it. I just can't do it.
If I'm at that point where I definitely will feel better after I've done it. I'll get over and done with. But then what happens just keeps coming. It's fucking unreal. I think I must have ruined something when I was younger, and it stayed ruined now that I'm old.
Take it. Have you ever had an alcoholic drink that you took too much of when you were younger and you still can't face now?
Aye, it's an uncomfortable call.
I was just going to say, it's so uncomfortable.
Aye, the rugby club, Porty Rugby Club, we did it one night. We were just tanning fucking loads. I mind it was snowing. That might have been the Jimmy Sanderson night.
Might have been, aye.
But I was sick as fuck on that with the Southern Comfort. Even now, thinking about it now, with the smell of it, I get that.
Well, that's what I was going with there. Oh. Horrendous. Still can't go near it. 17 or 6. It was actually somebody's birthday party out. We were at the Minto Hotel, mind the Minto Hotel, in the good old days, and done fuck knows how much I drank it, and that was at school the next day. That's how good it was.
Was that where what was the maths teacher name that used to put her collar up, and we would go to put our collars up?
It's Moffat.
It's Moffat. I'm sure.
I'm only here to remind her how these fucking stats I can never remember.
I remember going in absolutely hanging, and she said, "If you didn't want to be here, just go." And went, "Great." And then fucking went. I was like, "I'm away."
No, I hadn't went in, but the fire alarm went that day, so he's all came down the fucking stair, and I was sitting on the bench outside. For fuck's sake, I was sitting here trying to go fresh air.
Yeah.
Some night. Never drank Southern Comfort since.
Nah, rank. Right, Liam, why is it called a vet's and not a doctor's?
Oh, a doctor's? Because they didn't just treat dogs.
Well, I suppose there is that. What can you apply that to any other animals? A paramedic.
A paramedic, that's
what. Paramedic. You can add. I had to care for topping that.
A nurse.
Can't bear it. What did you say? A nurse?
Nearly a horse, I don't know. Stupid question. We answered it already.
Right, and last question of the evening comes from Alistair Taylor. So do you go for a poo, a shit, totally job, or a dump?
Yes.
I do.
All varieties in one sitting, Colin.
Aye. What's your go-to moniker for it?
I just generally say I'm going to the toilet, but if I have to break it down, if I'm on the phone, for example, to my brother-in-law Charlie,
break it down.
If he's on the phone and I'm trying to get him off the phone, I'll say, Charlie, I'm bursting out of shite. I need to go. Right. So that's what I would say. But I've just given my secret away.
Aye.
So I hope he doesn't listen to it. He's still in a bad mood for Saturday, so he'll probably don't get this far.
John?
Probably away for a shite. And if I'm in polite company, I'm away for a poo.
Do you know, you say I've got the toilet?
I probably just go to the toilet.
I don't know.
It depends what you're with, because if you're with your mates, you tell them what you're doing. Careful with sitting
you go into detail. You give them the befores and the afters.
Aye. Away for a Basil Bowley or a Michael Lingu. They have. So, aye. To be fair, I've used all of them. Jobby's probably one that didn't really say that much.
It needs to make a comeback. It's a really, really good word.
Bring back Jobby.
Bring back Jobby. Can we make that the episode title?
Shortbangers didn't have the episode titles, but...
Do we know? Why not?
Okay, Ken.
Just as once, Matthew, call it Bring Back Jobby.
Bring back Jobby. Nah, we're doing it. Right.
Before you finish,
I'm just
going to remind you of something.
Yes.
Oh, amazing. What amazing. I'd forgot as well. Amazing memory.
Well done. Oh,
memory, man.
Just got a tweet for Charlie there. By the way, it's cheese on toast on his super duper air fryer tonight. That's an exciting bit of news for you.
Cheese on toast in his air fryer?
Well, apparently. That's what he's written down. I don't know whether to believe him or not. I did 2 croissants in it this morning. They were fucking amazing.
How long did you put them
in? 5 minutes at 150. And
well,
they were just so crispy on the outside, but fluffy in on the inside.
Were they pre-prepared frozen ones, or did you get them out of Lidl or something?
They're ready-made. You know, they're just out of Tesco. So you just have to warm them up. But anyway, save tea in the oven.
You really have a hard on for that air fryer, eh? You could have just put them under the grill.
So good, like.
Have you got an actual oven yet, or is it just the air fryer?
No. We've got the oven there. I didn't like using the oven now. I resent the oven because it's always good.
Hassle.
It takes ages to warm up, and I think that's warmed up. I could have cooked it in that, and it would have been nicer. So,
does it just sit there looking at you like the non-favourite child?
Aye,
abandoned, forgotten in the corner.
With its wee fucking clock and its shite fucking dials.
Be you faster, you big dick.
Aye. It's going, but I've got a fan. I'm not your fan, you prick. Right, what we're going to say, right, a couple of things. Go on Recast and have a wee look. There's a video there from Tuesday night where we had Dan Tester, who's a Brighton and Hove Albion fan, likes both clubs. He was in talking about the partnership with Hibs and Brighton. It was dead interesting. So it's on Recast just now, and that will go on podcast and YouTube on Saturday morning. I think 10 o'clock it's scheduled. So if you didn't see it on Recast, you can catch it there. But it's better if you go and watch it on Recast. And while you're there, watch your advert, and you'll get 100 credits, and that'll cover the cost of watching this tonight. So there you go. Also, we are looking for somebody who would like to get a season ticket but is not in a position to be able to get one. So if they're financially unable to get it and they would like to do it, we have somebody's come forward to offer to buy a season ticket for somebody effectively if we can find somebody suitable. So if you're that person, or if you know somebody who would be a worthy recipient of a season ticket, drop us a DM on Twitter, and we'll see what happens. I don't know whether it'll be our final decision or whether we put it to the donator. But we'll assess the cases and hopefully be able to sort you out with one. Very, very kind offer from somebody anyway. And don't worry about feeling proud about it or anything like that. If you want to go, it's a seat that Hibs can sell. You get to see the games. It makes the atmosphere better. The more folk that are there. So don't do yourself out of it. Get involved. And the other thing was we're going to do a series of top fives episodes. So things like getting either people of interest, and we've got a few good guests lined up for it, or listeners. Know that we didn't find the listeners interested. I'm sure you are as well. To come on and talk through their top 5 things, like so top 5 goals, top 5 foreign players to play for Hibs, top 5 games, top 5 injuries, top 5 red cards, whatever the fuck you want. John, your eyes lit up at the idea of the top 5 red cards there.
No, it was the top 5 injuries. I just because I'd said to you beforehand about putting images on screen, can I not be involved in that one? I can't stand broken legs.
What was the one that was at Man United where Schmeichel threw up? Who was that? The boy's leg was
David
Coventry. Coventry player. Mind his leg was in about 3 bits.
Oh, did he?
Aye, grim. So anyway, if you want to tell us your top 5s,
if you want to try and make me spew,
aye, drop us a.
You got to do one. Either you used to go to do one.
Well, what I thought would happen, Colin, right? So you're welcome on it as well, was to discuss it. So say somebody comes in and says, like, what are the top 5 football songs, for example, and they'd have the list. Then we join in and say, I like that song, I don't like that song, that song's pish, get off my show, and then we fucking come back. That's not how it'll go. Anyway, but when we talk about top 5 foreign players, like, you'll think of 5 foreign players as well, and then don't want to be sure about it, but that's the plan. So to fill in the gaps for close season and pre-season when there's fuck all happening with the Hibs, that's what we're going to do. So if you'd like to come on the show, we would love to have you on. Just drop my wee DM and we'll sort it out. And that's it. Thanks very much for listening, Colin. Hope you enjoyed your debut on Shortbangers.
A couple of blanks at a couple of stages, but it was all right.
You did good. John, thanks for coming on as well. We'll see you next time. Dry County line, I pledged upon. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.